Welcome to today's episode of Talking Technique, No Treble. Thanks for tuning in. This is Ari. Now, on July 4th, 2016, we posted a talking technique called Beautiful Practice. It recently made a reader's favorite list of 2016 here on No Treble. Thanks to all your likes and thumbs up. Thank you very much for that. It's also one of my personal favorites, because it brings together theory, comprehensive fretboard knowledge, and lots of technique aspects. The right hand, for example, is forced to jump all across these strings, giving the index and middle fingers a really good workout. And the left has lots of acrobatic movement going on as well, reinforcing one finger per fret. So I thought I'd bring this episode back today as a Dankeschön to you in a variation, namely in minor today. Now, as a brief recap of the theory, we're doing diatonic triads in an open voicing through the diatonic cycle. I've addressed the theory in the original episode, but I will give you a very quick rundown of it. Our tonal material here is G minor, which shares its tonal material with B flat major, except we're also using the F sharp in the 5 chord, which is the F sharp in the D major. Let me show you my trick for finding relative major and minor scales. For this, operate on only one string. The first finger is placed on the minor, and the pinky finger is placed on the major. That's how they relate. G minor, B flat major. So if you know the major scale, place the pinky finger on the root of the major, and you will find the minor by going down 3 frets. And if it's the other way around, you know the minor scale, put the first finger on your minor and reach up 1 finger per fret style, and you will find your corresponding major scale. Now we're stacking diatonic triads on top of each scale note. Diatonic means we're only using the notes of G minor. You can see that on the PDF all the way on top. In the tab will give you open strings just because it's the only way to write it in tab so it's not cluttered. But when you are practicing it, I recommend you arpeggiate it. And there are many good ways to finger this. For starters, you can do this moving up and down on a single string. But you can also try and challenge yourself and keep everything in one position, which is harder. Let me briefly demonstrate this going up on the E string with the roots. G minor, A diminished, B flat major, C minor, D minor, E flat major, F major, and G minor up here on top. Now I can also do this staying in just one position, shifting just a couple of frets as needed. As I was just giving you these examples of the diatonic triads up a string or within one position, I was using strictly diatonic notes. However, in the piece itself, I am sometimes using an F sharp, and I want to briefly tell you what's up with that F sharp. That F sharp is being used every time we're on the 5 chord. The 5 chord of G minor is D, and if we go in strictly diatonic, it would be D, F, A, which is D minor. D minor resolves not too strongly to the G minor. So if I have D minor going to a G minor, it doesn't sound like a very strong resolution. If I, however, create an F sharp and do that, I have have this pull from the F sharp to the G. Next, we're putting the triads not in order of the scale, but rather in order of descending fifths. There are a few important reasons why that particular progression in ascending fourths or descending fifths is so very important. At this point, I will just say, listen to how familiar this sounds and how pleasant. Okay, let me show you diatonic triads in the diatonic cycle, meaning in the order of descending fifths or ascending fourths. And I will keep the root on the E string on this one. So G minor, C minor, F major, B flat major, E flat major, A diminished, D minor, G minor. Now I'll do the same thing and keep it in one area of the bass. G minor, C minor, F major, B flat major, E flat major, A diminished, D minor, and back around. Okay, or I can play D major. Now, doing this in one position, for one, is where we're headed in beautiful practice, but we're throwing one more rule into the mix. Let's use spread out or open voicings. Instead of playing root, third, fifth, we spread the triad out to always skip one of those three notes. So we play, instead of going G, B flat, D, we're playing G, skip the B flat, D, skip the G, which would be the next note, and then play the B flat. So, and we're skipping every other note. What that does is it takes the mud out. So these low frequencies are not so close together. So I will demonstrate open voicings with the root on the E string in the order of the diatonic cycle. So it's always root 5/3. If the root's on the bottom, it's always root 5/3 in this kind of open voicing. Root 5/3. Or, and now here's the final root to get us some really comprehensive fretboard knowledge and to get us to beautiful practice. We're going to keep all of this in one position. And in order to do this, we cannot always start with the root of the triad because we will run out of notes. But we can start with another note that is part of the triad. So it doesn't mean that I always have to use root 3, 5 and start on the bottom, because if I went from G to the C, I'd already have to do a big jump, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. So what we do is we think, well, the notes of G minor, that's G, B flat, D, so I'm spreading that out right here, no problem so far. Now I'm going to go to C minor, and C minor has the notes C, E flat, and G. Out of those three notes, what's the lowest note? G. So G, the next note in the triad would be C. I'm skipping that because I'm doing open voicings. So I'm playing E flat. Now I have to skip G, which is the octave, and go to the C. So that's my next triad. I have laid out the entire sequence for you in the accompanying PDF. What we're doing there is we're going through the 5 areas of the bass, playing this diatonic sequence through the cycle using spread out voicings and only using up a fret or down a fret if we absolutely have to. On the sheet, you will see patterns 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 referenced. That's part of the pattern system that I teach and my way of organizing the bass into these 5 areas. But you can use any systematic way that works for you. Now, when I played this, I used a delay pedal using a Hocket delay setting. If you'd like to know how to do this, please go to arisbassblog.com/Hocket. And that's like hockey, but with a T in the end instead of the Y. I also want to briefly address the fingering with these stretched out voicings. Sometimes it's easier to play these notes barred. You can do this instead of doing this every time. It's pretty fast and it's moving a lot. Most important thing is that you stay relaxed with your fingers. Do not overgrip. Don't use more force than you need to. And as always, use your right arm to provide a counterweight for supporting your left hand. On the PDF, you have all the notes laid out for you, following all these rules, open voicing, staying in one position, and all that, in all 5 areas of the bass. You can have fun with that delay pedal and that tonal material any way you like. So I'm going to play it one more time using a little bit of a different way of spacing out those notes and the order I'm putting them in. And this has a theme of going up a triad and then back down a triad in the next chord. So have fun with it, make it your own, and enjoy. Beautiful practice in minor. If you need some help with the theory, check out my book, Music Theory for the Bass Player. You can get it on Amazon. I have a course out that goes with it as well. And a lot of people are asking me about the pattern system. I do not have, the book is in the making, but it's not quite ready yet. And in the meantime, I do talk about the pattern system as it relates to pentatonic scales in my True Fire course, Pentatonic Playground for Bass. Information on all of this is on my website, arispacblog.com. And again, if you want to know how I set that delay pedal, go to arispacblog.com/hocket. That's like hockey, but with the T instead of the Y in the end. arispacblog.com/hocket.